Hey everyone, and welcome. We're diving deep today into those phrases, that native English speakers use all the time without even thinking about it.
It's true.
So we're going to cover idioms, phrasal verbs, all that good stuff that adds color and personality to English conversations.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fun.
Sure.
So, yeah, we're going to be looking at some examples and really kind of breaking them down.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that these phrases, they go way beyond just the literal meaning of the words. They
Right.
often have cultural meaning of the words. They often have cultural nuances, emotions, sometimes even a touch of history packed into them.
Yeah. Like, for example, have you ever heard someone say something is off the beaten path?
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like a travel phrase.
It definitely does suggest those less traveled routes, hidden gems.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that.
I like that.
If you think about it, choosing the unbeaten path metaphorically means being unconventional.
Yeah.
Taking risks, embracing the unexpected.
Ooh, I like that. So it's not just about travel, it's about like an approach to life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears a bit to something a little more steadfast.
Okay.
What about the phrase through thick and thin? It just sounds so supportive and loyal.
It does. It really paints a picture of unwavering commitment, sticking with someone through good times and bad, no matter what.
Yeah.
And grammatically speaking, it's a prepositional phrase that often pops up with the present perfect tense, like,
Oh, interesting.
they've been there for me through thick and thin.
That's a good point about the grammar. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've talked about adventure and loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about organization, getting everything perfectly aligned before you take action.
Right.
Like getting your ducks in a row.
Get your ducks in a row. It's such a funny phrase if you think about it visually.
Yeah.
It probably originated from the military, where order and precision are key,
Makes sense.
or maybe even duck hunting. But nowadays, it's all about being prepared, organized, having everything in place before diving into a project or task.
I love that. There's something so satisfying about that feeling.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Knowing you've ticked every box and are ready to go.
Yeah, you've got it all set.
It's like a confidence booster, for sure. Speaking of feeling good, how about that moment when you're relieved of a responsibility or worry, like you're finally off the hook?
Off the hook. It evokes such a feeling of liberation.
I know.
It literally comes from the image of a fish escaping a hook.
Oh, yeah.
So whether you're relieved of a chore, freed from blame, or maybe even dodging a tricky social situation off the hook, perfectly captures that feeling of escaping pressure.
Yeah, you can almost hear that sigh of relief. Okay, last one before we move on to something a bit more challenging.
Okay.
Think about those times when you're pushing toward the end of a big project or even a personal journey. What's that final stretch called?
That, my friend, is the home stretch, a term borrowed from horse racing.
Oh, right.
It marks the final phase of any endeavor.
Yeah.
It can be tiring, but there's this excitement mixed with relief knowing the finish line is in sight.
Yes. And maybe a little bit of bittersweetness too, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I'm glad it's almost over, but I'm also going to miss the journey.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've decoded some colorful idioms.
Yes, we have.
Are you ready to level up
I think so.
and explore some phrasal verbs?
I'm ready.
These are those multi-word verbs that can sound a bit confusing at first,
Yeah.
but they are essential for sounding truly fluent.
They are. They're like the secret handshake of native English speakers.
I like that.
Mastering them is a sure sign you're reaching fluency, and even encountering unfamiliar ones is a good thing.
Really?
It means your ears are becoming attuned to the subtleties of the language.
Oh, I love that perspective. So it's like each new phrasal verb you learn is a badge of honor on your language journey.
I like that.
Okay, first up, imagine you need to get serious about your studies or your work, like really focus and put in the effort.
Okay.
What's the phrasal verb for that?
You need to buckle down. It's a non-separable phrasal verb, meaning buckle and down. Always stick together, and it's often used as a command, like, you really need to buckle down and finish that report.
Oh, I feel a surge of motivation just hearing it. It's like flipping a switch and entering focus mode.
Right.
Okay, now on a less positive note, let's say you had plans, but they didn't quite work out.
Okay.
What happened to them?
They fell through. This phrasal verb is all about disappointment plans getting canceled, dreams fading away, and it's often paired with the word plans, like, my weekend plans fell through.
Right.
Though you could also say a sale or a deal fell through.
So it can be used in different contexts.
It can,
Okay.
as long as something's not happening that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's like that sinking feeling when something you were looking forward to just vanishes.
Exactly.
Shifting gears again. Let's say you have a big decision to make,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to really think things over.
Mm-hmm.
What phrasal verb captures that careful consideration?
You need to mull it over.
Yeah.
Unlike buckle down, this one is separable. So you can say mull over something or mull something over.
Okay.
And it implies deep thought weighing options, taking your time to reach a conclusion.
It's that process of turning an idea over in your mind, right?
Yeah,
Not just a quick thought, but a real mental exploration.
exactly.
Okay, let's imagine someone barely achieved a goal. Maybe winning a game by a tiny margin or getting a promotion after a ton of struggle.
Uh-huh.
What phrasal verb describes that?
They eked out a win or eked out a promotion.
Eked out.
Yeah, it really emphasizes the difficulty, the narrow margin of success.
Yeah.
It's like squeezing every last drop of effort to achieve something.
Ooh, I like that.
And you often see it in news headlines like, company ekes out small profit, or team ekes out victory in overtime.
So it really highlights the effort behind the achievement.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, last one for this round.
Mm-hmm.
What about when you and a friend have a disagreement and need to talk it out? What phrasal verb captures that process?
You need to hash it out. It implies a lively, maybe even heated discussion. That's aimed at reaching a solution.
Yeah.
It's less formal than work something out, but still conveys that sense of resolving a conflict through dialogue.
So it's like a verbal sparring match.
Yeah,
But with the goal of ultimately finding common ground.
exactly.
I like it. And I think our listeners are already feeling more confident and fluent just hearing these phrases.
I think so.
What do you say we take a little breather and come back with even more linguistic gems?
Sounds great. Give everyone a chance to mull over what we've covered so far.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
See you soon.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. Are you ready for some more phrases?
Yes, I am. I'm ready to sound even more like a natural.
That's the goal. So this time we're going to focus on expressions that are super useful in specific social situations.
Okay.
You know, those moments where you want to say just the right thing.
Oh, I know those moments well. Like when you're trying to gracefully offer to pay the bill or maybe express surprise without sounding awkward.
Exactly. So social context is key when it comes to language. The same phrase can have totally different meanings depending on the situation, your tone of voice, even your relationship with the person you're talking to. It's like knowing when to wear a suit and tie versus when jeans and a t-shirt are perfectly acceptable.
That's a great analogy. Okay, let's imagine you're out with friends and the bill arrives. What's a casual way to offer to treat everyone?
You could say, I'll pick up the tab. It's friendly, informal, and perfect for those casual outings with friends.
Pick up the tab.
Yeah. But interestingly, it's more common in American English.
Oh, really?
In other parts of the English-speaking world, you might say, I'll get this, or it's on me.
Oh, interesting. So even within English, there's all these little variations.
There are.
Okay, let's say something totally unexpected happens and you're completely speechless. How would you describe that feeling?
You would be at a loss for words. It's a great phrase for those moments of astonishment or bewilderment when your brain just can't keep up with what's happening.
It's like your vocabulary has suddenly vanished. And I guess it works for both good and bad surprises. Like winning the lottery or witnessing a car accident, both could leave you at a loss for words.
Absolutely. The context and your tone of voice will tell the listener which end of the emotional spectrum you're on.
That's true. That's true. Okay, speaking of context, let's say you're in a discussion and someone brings up a point that's no longer relevant or can't be resolved.
Right.
What's the phrase for that?
That would be a moot point.
Moot point.
Yeah, it's like saying, let's move on. There's no point in arguing about this anymore.
Right. Like it's not worth discussing.
Exactly. It's a great phrase for gracefully ending a debate or discussion that's become unproductive.
Yeah, a polite way to shut it down.
Okay, how about when you encounter someone who's a bit too self-absorbed? No, the type who loves to brag and always makes the conversation about them.
Ugh, I know the type. They can be so draining to be around.
It can be.
What's a phrase that captures that kind of arrogance?
You could say they're full of themselves. It's an informal, slightly negative way to describe someone who's overly self-important, arrogant, or conceited.
Yeah, it's like they're constantly admiring their own reflection, both literally and metaphorically.
I like that.
Okay, now let's talk about those times when you want to describe something that's brief to the point and doesn't waste any time. What's the phrase for that?
Short and sweet. It's perfect for that.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, it describes anything that's concise, efficient, and gets the message across without any unnecessary fluff.
It's like that perfectly crafted email that says everything it needs to in just a few sentences, no rambling.
Exactly.
I'm all about short and sweet. Speaking of short and sweet, that actually brings us to a fascinating feature of English that you've probably noticed without even realizing it. Binomial pairs.
Binomial pair.
Yes, those catchy two-word phrases joined by and or.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere.
They're incredibly common in spoken English.
Yeah, and they add a certain rhythm and flow to the language.
True.
And often they have a fixed order. You can't just swap the words around.
That's so true.
It just wouldn't sound
It
right.
wouldn't sound natural. Okay, I'm feeling quizzy. I'm going to give you a definition and the first letter of each word in a binomial pair, and you see if you can guess the phrase.
Okay, I love a good word puzzle.
Okay, first up, easy to understand, starts with L and C.
Loud and clear.
You got it.
Oh, yeah.
Next one, most importantly, starts with F and F.
First and foremost.
Nailed it. Okay, here's a tricky one. Freedom from noise and activity starts with P and Q.
Peace and quiet.
Yes. That sounds blissful.
Doesn't it?
Okay, last one. Lots of noisy activity starts with H and B.
Hustle and bustle.
Yes, you aced it. See how much fun you can have with binomial pairs. They're like little sprinkles of personality you can add to your conversations.
They really are. And the best way to learn them is by listening to native speakers and paying attention to how they use them in context.
Exactly. You'll start hearing them everywhere: movies, music, everyday chats. Okay, I've got a few more binomial pair examples, but this time I'm going to play some audio clips.
Yeah.
And you try to identify the missing phrase, ready to test your ears.
Let's do it.
All right, here's the first one. Listen for a phrase that means extremely annoyed or fed up,
Okay.
and it's repeated for emphasis.
Right.
So listen carefully.
Got it.
Okay,
Sick and tired.
that's it, sick and tired. And yeah, the speaker repeated it 3 times for extra emphasis. Talk about being fed up.
Definitely got the message across.
Right.
Okay.
Next clip. Listen for a phrase that means something is definitely going to happen, but the timing is uncertain.
Okay.
All right.
Sooner or later.
That's it. Sooner or later, a classic for expressing inevitability. And in this case, it's a pretty positive inevitability. Love will win.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, one more listen for a phrase that means growing or progressing very rapidly.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Leaps and bounds.
Yes, leaps and bounds. And in this case, Dr. Evil seems a bit less thrilled about Byron's rapid progress, especially his insubordination.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy about that.
Okay, we've had fun with those playful pairs now. Let's explore some phrases that are incredibly useful in everyday conversations, the kind you hear all the time, but might not know how to use yourself.
Okay, sounds good.
These are like the building blocks of natural-sounding English, the phrases that help you navigate those everyday interactions with ease and confidence.
Right.
So let's say you want to invite someone to join you for a casual meal or drink. What's a relaxed, friendly way to do that?
You could say, do you want to grab a coffee lunch dinner bite after work?
I love how you can just swap in different food and drinks to fit the occasion.
Yeah, it keeps it casual and flexible.
Okay, someone asks you a question and you want to give an enthusiastic tell-it-all. What's a quick, casual way to do that?
You bet is perfect for that short, sweet, and full of affirmation.
You bet.
It's like saying absolutely or count me in, but with a more laid-back vibe.
Okay, you're waiting for an update on something important and you want to ask someone to keep you informed. What's a casual way to phrase that request?
You can simply say, keep me posted.
Keep me posted.
It's friendly, direct, and lets them know you're eager to hear how things unfold.
Yeah, like you're invested and you want to be kept in the loop.
Exactly.
Okay, imagine you're at a party and it's getting late. What's a casual way to signal that you need to leave?
You could say, I'd better get going or I'd better head out. It's polite, informal, and doesn't require a lengthy explanation.
Yeah, keeps it simple. What if you want to ask someone when they're planning to leave?
You could say, when do you want to head out? It's a casual way to inquire about their departure plans without sounding too demanding.
Perfect for coordinating exits.
Right.
Okay, what if you're running low on something essential? Time, money, patience. How would you express that feeling of scarcity?
You could say, I'm short on time, money, patience ideas.
Short on?
It's a common way to indicate that you have a limited supply of something.
It's like that universal feeling of not having enough of something you really need.
I know, right?
Okay, let's talk about offering support. What's a heartfelt way to let someone know you're there for them?
I'm here if you need me anything, if there's anything I can do. It's genuine, reassuring, and conveys your willingness to help in any way possible.
Yeah, it's like a verbal hug, letting them know they're not alone. Now imagine someone's telling you something important and you want to assure them you're fully engaged. What phrase captures that focused attention?
You could say, "I'm all ears."
I'm all ears.
Yeah, it's a playful, slightly informal way to convey that you're listening intently and giving them your undivided attention.
Like, tell me everything.
Exactly.
Okay, someone invites you to do something, but you can't make it at that moment. You'd still like to do it later, though. How do you politely decline while expressing interest?
Can we take a rain check? Is a classic for this.
Rain check.
Yeah, it's a way to postpone plans without completely canceling them.
It's like a promise to reschedule.
Exactly.
A little ray of hope for a future hangout?
Yeah.
Okay, you're making plans but aren't sure about the details yet. You want to leave room for flexibility. What phrase suggests that?
Let's play it by ear. Implies that you'll make decisions as the situation unfolds, rather than sticking to a rigid plan.
Play it by ear. So it's all about going with the flow, embracing spontaneity.
I like it.
Okay, someone's going through a tough time and you want to encourage them to stay strong. It's a simple but powerful phrase for that.
Hang in there is a classic expression of support and encouragement.
Hang in there.
It's like saying, "Don't give up, you got this," but with a more casual, empathetic tone.
Yeah, just a little reminder that tough times don't last forever.
Exactly.
And finally, when it's time to say goodbye, what's a casual farewell that conveys a sense of care and well-being?
Take care is perfect for that. It's a simple but heartfelt way to express your concern for someone as you part ways.
It's like a little verbal pat on the back, wishing them well on their way.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yep.
From those colorful idioms and dynamic phrasal verbs to those playful binomial pairs.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm feeling so much more confident about navigating everyday conversations. And you know what's really cool about all these phrases? It's not just about sounding more fluent. It's about connecting more deeply with the culture,
Oh, absolutely.
with the people who speak English.
That's such an important point. Language isn't just a set of rules and vocabulary.
Right.
It's a window into how people think, how they express themselves, how they see the world.
Yeah.
And learning these everyday phrases really gives you a glimpse into the heart of English-speaking cultures.
Yeah, it's like cracking a cultural code.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're not just understanding the words, but you're also picking up on the humor, the nuances, those shared references that make conversation so much richer.
Exactly. It's like you're becoming part of an inside joke,
Yeah.
a shared understanding that goes beyond just the surface level of communication.
And that feeling of getting it, of being in on the joke, is so rewarding.
It is.
It's like a sign that you're truly becoming fluent, not just in the language itself,
Yeah.
but in the culture it represents.
Absolutely. Fluency isn't just about grammar and pronunciation. It's about using language confidently and expressively to connect with others, to share your thoughts and ideas, to build relationships.
Yeah.
And learning these everyday phrases really gives you the tools to do just that.
It's like adding new colors to your conversational palette. You suddenly have more ways to express yourself, to add humor or empathy, to navigate different social situations with grace and ease.
Yeah, and the more you practice, the more natural and effortless it becomes.
Absolutely. And remember, the journey of language learning is ongoing.
It is.
There's always more to discover, more nuances to explore,
Always.
more phrases to add to your repertoire. So to all our listeners out there, keep diving deep. Keep exploring this fascinating world of everyday English. Pay attention to how native speakers use these phrases in real conversations.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to try them out yourself, even if you make a few mistakes along the way.
Embrace the challenge, the humor, the occasional awkward moment. Because with every phrase you master, you're not just expanding your vocabulary, you're expanding your world.
I love that. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one effortlessly using these phrases, inspiring others on their own language learning adventures.
That'd be great.
Until then, keep those deep dives going.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.